Okay, here we are on activity 3, making your script. This applies to both audio and video production because in both cases, you're recording yourself reading some news, some sports, some weather, and of course, your made-up commercials. Now, here's what I would say. Don't spend too much time on your script. Of course, you want your script to be good and interesting, but I've had students sometimes trying to get the perfect sports story. They're a big Celtics fan, so they have to find a story about Jason Tatum. They spend all period finding 1/6 of their script, and they take days to get their script done. Guess what? They never finish recording, and then they're all bummed out when they don't finish their project. So I'm going to teach you how to make a script really quick. We're going to copy and paste from some websites. Now you might say, hey, Mr. Pat, my social studies teacher said don't copy and paste. That is against the rules. Normally, copying things for schoolwork is plagiarism, which is cheating, because you are not claiming credit for the news stories or trying to make money from your broadcast. This is considered what's called acceptable use of resources you have been instructed to use. So you're not taking credit for these, you're just using them so you have something to read during your recording. So it's a little different. Don't do this in social studies or language arts class, for goodness sakes. Okay? So, first thing you need to do if you're going to create a script is create a Google Doc. So, if I pop open a new tab and I go over to my waffle, these dots over here you might know of, I click on my drive. Now, you might know a different way of getting to Google Drive. I don't care. And over here under new, I'm going to create a Google Doc. You might, again, know a different way of doing this, but we want an untitled document here. And of course, since it's an untitled document, the first thing we're going to do is title it. I'm going to put my name on it. Mr. Pat's script. Okay, so there's Mr. Pat's script, but my partner might be Mrs. Adorno. So it's both our scripts, and what I'm going to do is actually over here on the share button, I'm going to share it with my partner. So unless you're working by yourself, one of the partners creates this doc, and if I type in Adorno, there she is. I can click and invite her to copy on this. I'm not going to in this case, but you would click send, and that would be how your partner can work on the same document at the same time as you, which is going to save you more time, which means you get to record sooner, which is better and more fun. Okay? While one person is working on the computer there at the desk, the other one can pull out their Chromebook, log into the same script, and you can both be finding news, sports, and weather, and it will save you a bunch of time. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, here are some links. See where it says, use the links below to find your news, weather, and sports stories. So under news stories, we have UPI, Goofy News. So you click on that. A rattlesnake found in the back seat of an Arizona woman's car. Okay, that's got my attention. Let's see. Vermont man finds library book due in 1962 but can't return it. Man cleaning out his truck finds months-old Mega Millions ticket worth $30,000. Now that sounds really interesting to me. Let's say I make that my news story. Okay? So I'm going to start here, click and drag. Excuse me. Now what you might be noticing is right away, it's highlighting all sorts of other stuff. And we're going to have to delete that later when we put it in our thing. But I've highlighted a whole bunch of words here. I'm going to right click and copy and go back to my Google Doc here. And I'm going to paste. And here where it says advertising, I'm going to try and backspace that away. I might have to do a little bit of what we call formatting. There's some spaces here I'm not crazy about. Make my paragraph a little, take up a little less space. And there we go. Now, part of this is to make sure that our particular news story is not too long. So if I highlight it and I click on tools here, there's a tool called word count. That's 133 words. Okay, your script is supposed to be between 100 and 150 words. That's perfect. It's right in the middle. So that's a good news story. That's a good length. I'm going to write Mr. Pat's News. And that will be my news story. And in fact, I might even underline or bold this or do something because down here, next thing will be Mrs. Adorno's news. And she would put her story there, which she can copy and paste from a web page that you found here on the GMS Tech Ed link, UPI Goofy News. All right. Now, here's the Fox 61 8-day forecast. Here's the problem with a lot of web pages, folks, is they give you videos, they give you pictures. We want words because we're reading a script. So here where it says 8-day forecast, you click on that. Again, this is neat, but I can't read this in a script. I'm going to scroll down, keep on scrolling, keep on scrolling, keep on scrolling, and way down at the bottom, forecast details. So I'm going to hold my shift key, highlight all of this through Sunday, copy. Then I will go back to my Google Doc, which is my script, and I will say, Mr. Pat's weather. And then I will Control V it in there. Now, here's a lot of weather. Here's Tuesdays, here's Wednesdays, here's Thursdays. So what I'm going to do is halfway through, after Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm going to say, Mrs. Adorno's, weather. Make that bold, right? So there's Mr. Pat's weather. So in like 90 seconds, guys, I got 1/3 of our script done. I got enough weather for me and Ms. Adorno ready to go. I've got my news. Let's assume that she's working on her news report. One more thing would be sports, right? So one thing I need to do right away, because every language arts teacher in the building would come after me with pitchforks and torches if I don't fix this. Mr. Pat's, that should be an apostrophe there because I'm showing possession, and Mrs. Adorno's script. So make sure you use proper rules of English language, or else your language arts teacher's gonna come after me and yell at me. So let's be proper when we do stuff like that. So look, we have news, and my partner should be working on her news segment. We've got 2 weathers, and that took like no time at all. Let's see, back here on the Tech Ed webpage, there's the WFSB sports headlines. So right here, you click on that. Once again, you're gonna see a lot of videos, and you're not gonna get as much paragraph type material. But you know what? Let's just click on it and see what we get. Here, Caitlin Clark breaks all-time scoring record for NCAA women's basketballs. Okay, so let's find out more about Caitlin Clark. Okay, there's a couple of paragraphs. I'm going to go to the end of the article and work my way forward. I'm going to highlight it from here, from the end of that paragraph about Caitlin Clark, and work my way up. Come on, you can do it. All the way to where it says Iowa City. Copy that. Hopefully I haven't copied the whole darn web page. That's pretty ridiculous. Paste it in there. Oh, so much better. Now remember, I should label this. Mr. Pat's Sports. And of course, Ms. Adorno will be doing this on her Chromebook at the same time. I don't need that all to be underlined. I can probably make the underlining go away. Yes, you know how to do that, right, guys? Right up here. Oops. Click on the underline button. There, gone. Okay. Now, the other thing I should do while it's highlighted, remember that word count thing I did before? Let me look at tools, word count. OMG, 239 words. I'm supposed to be under 150. This tells me that I need to get rid of a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to start at the back. Let's see. Backspace that much. Let's see how many words I have now. I think you can kind of get what I'm doing here. Just trimming away some words. 130. Perfect. Okay, I'm back within my my limits there for the amount of words. So, people, in this 10-minute video, I've gotten a news story, 2 weather stories, and a sports story, which tells me that in 1 or 2 periods, you should be able to put together a good script with your partner. The sooner you do it, the sooner you get to start recording, all right? And then that's when the fun begins. But you have to have words to read. It would be nice, by the way, if you do something about women's college basketball, maybe your partner does something about hockey or a different sport. Okay. If you choose a news story about a lottery winner, maybe they pick a story about something else. Maybe that rattlesnake in the back of that lady's car, that sounded kind of interesting. All right. But what I'm saying is don't be boring. Don't do the same things. All right. Once you have 2 news stories, 2 weather stories to read, and 2 sports stories to read, you are done with activity 3. Have your teacher look at it and sign off. And then you can start working on your commercials, which you make up with your own creativity. And that's where it can get really fun, maybe even a little silly. All right.